Hey everyone, welcome to another one of my Draw With Me videos. Here I'll show you my drawing process of the Draw the Senior style I created to celebrate 30,000 followers on Instagram, with some voiceover explaining a little bit about my process as the majority of you requested. So when I draw something, I always start by defining the lines of action. I mainly think about the flow that I want my curves to have, and to do that I need to apply as little pressure as I can. And that's the reason why you probably can't even see the lines I'm drawing at the moment, but they will slowly start to appear, I promise. I'm taking a picture from Pinterest as reference for the pose, but here I changed my mind about her left arm. I knew I wanted her right hand to hold some sort of cup, and I didn't want her left one to do the same, so having it up in the air didn't feel right. And since her pose is slightly tilted to the right, I thought I could use her left arm as some sort of support to her weight. Starting from the lines I've drawn before, I'm now defining the rough shapes that characterize each part of my character's body. When I start defining the lines of action and rough shapes of a character, I always draw everything using a very small part of the canvas. This helps me to avoid thinking about the details and focus more on stylization instead. And once I reach a level of stylization that I'm satisfied with, I then increase the size of my drawing until it fits the canvas. I am now going over my rough sketch and redefining some shapes and objects by adding some details. I could have skipped this part and redefined everything better like I'm doing later on, but since this was my own Draw the Senior style challenge, I wanted to be sure about everything and ended up redefining my sketch more times than I usually do. Now I'm redefining my lines another time before the final sketch because I felt like the shapes were too rough. As I said before, I don't always do this. The number of times I redefine a sketch is not always the same and depends on the drawing and how I approach it. Let's just say that whenever I feel like I haven't defined some parts of the drawing enough, that's when I need to go over it multiple times. One question I get a lot is, why do you sketch in red? Well, there isn't exactly a reason behind it. When I first started with digital art, I watched a few videos from other artists to learn how the drawing process worked, and I realized most artists use red for their sketches. So I started using it too for my sketches. I got used to it, and now I'm still using it. Though, as you can see, I'm now using grey for the final sketch with no particular reason behind it. It's just that changing color kind of helps my mind understand that this is the final sketch. So I need to draw cleaner lines because they will end up in my final drawing. Another question I get a lot is what brushes I use. The brushes that I use change quite often, so if you want to know which brushes I'm currently using, I suggest you check out the FAQ page on my website. I always try and keep that updated. I'll leave you the link in the description below. As I said before, the red color for this sketch has no particular reason, but I actually find it to be very helpful now that I have to add the colors. I always keep the line art in my final drawings, at least part of it, and I realized that a black line art does not blend well with the colors underneath. And the solution that I find most helpful and immediate is to color the whole line art in a brownish red, set the layer to multiply mode and decrease its opacity. This way the color of the line art kind of follows the color underneath and blends in way better. I am now adding the base color to my drawing. Regarding this, two questions I get all the time are what a base color is for and why do I use a certain color for it. First of all, adding a base color is not a mandatory step. I do it because I like to have the entire silhouette of my character on a single layer and then color in every single part like skin, hair, clothes, face, etc., each one on a different layer. The color I use for the base is never a specific one. I just start laying it down by choosing one of the colors from my color tests, and then I change it with the hue, saturation and brightness tool to a color that is not present in my color palette and that pops up from the background, if there is a background, so that it's clear which parts I still have to color in. I am now starting to add the shadows with a purple color on a separate layer in multiply mode. I start by adding the occlusion shadows, that are those shadows that happen when an object touches another or is very close to another, and then I add some softer shadows here and there, like under her nose, in her mouth, above her eyelids, etc. As you may have noticed, I have also added some lines to her hair on the same layer, even though they are no shadows. I just like them that way. I had previously saved the silhouette of my character, which is the layer with my base color, as a selection, so I don't have to worry if my shadows go outside of my shapes, because I can easily erase the excess by inverting the selection. If you want to know more about how I use the selection tool, check out my video about Procreate tips and tricks. I now add some highlights here and there, and mainly on the edge of my character to make it pop from the background a little more. For the highlights, I'm using a light yellow on a layer in overlay mode, and I am adding some more highlights to the hair as well, as I did for the shadows. And as a last step, I add some details like the reflection in her eyes and the "Draw this in your style" text. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful and I hope you have enjoyed it. See you in my next one. Bye!